The BSF Jawan, who was taken in by Pakistani authorities after he was washed over to the Pakistani side, will be released by Pakistan tomorrow at 2:30 in the afternoon. This news coming from sources after a flag meeting between the BSF and the Pakistan Rangers ended just a very short while ago. According to the details we have coming in, modalities for the release of the Jawan are still being worked out. Let's go over to NDTV's Nitin Gokhale, who joins us now for more on this story. Nitin, now of course people saying that, sources saying that the Jawan will be returned to India tomorrow afternoon. Tell us more.
Yes, in fact, after trying the whole day, almost for 24 hours for a flag meeting, the flag meeting between BSF and Pakistani Rangers did take place just about 45 minutes ago. And in that meeting, it was decided that tomorrow at 1500 hours or 3 p.m. Pakistan Standard Time, which is 2:30 Indian Standard Time, Satyashil Yadav, the BSF constable, will be released and be sent back at the Suchetgarh border outpost under the Arispura sector of the international border. That has been decided. Now, there are questions of why such a delay, almost 48 hours it took for Pakistan to return Satyashil Yadav, and our sources have now told us that Satyashil Yadav was actually initially interrogated or arrested by the Pakistani Rangers when he was spotted by Pakistani villagers after he was swept away in the Chenab River, which was in high spate. Then he was handed over to the Pakistani ISI, which is the intelligence agency on the Pakistani side, and the Pakistani army at the Markiwala camp in the Sialkot sector, where he was asked about details of the deployment on the Indian side, the border deployment, the gadgets and the weapons that they carry. Remember, Satyashil Yadav belongs to a BSF battalion which has come to this sector of Arispura only a month ago, and whatever he knew, he is apparently told his interrogators, although he was not mistreated is what our sources tell us. And after doing all that, after getting all the information from him, the Pakistanis have responded for a flag meeting with the BSF, which took place, as I said, less than an hour ago. And now it has been decided that he will be released tomorrow at 2:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time in Arispura sector. Kajal?
Right, Nitin, do stay with us. We also have joining us Zafar Iqbal. Zafar, even as details come in about that flag meeting ending and modalities being worked out, what is likely to happen on the ground?
Well, obviously he will be released. The local sector commanders and other officers of the Pakistani army will be accompanying him, and he'll be handed over to the commanders of the Indian side. The Indian side had been requesting Pakistan to release him at the Octroi post at this particular place since yesterday. Though he was swept away into Pakistan by the water current in the Akhnur sector, which is quite far from Arispura, about 40 kilometers from Arispura. But then they were asking for his release at the Octroi post, which is a proper crossing where there are proper gates put in place. That's the proper place where the BSF and the Pakistani Rangers come together for meetings. That's the place where they exchange the things on Independence Day and on other festivals. So that's the particular place where he will be handed back to the Indian authorities. But the problem was they were requesting for a flag meeting since morning. There was no response coming from the Pakistani side. That was a bit frustrating for the BSF here, but then the flag meeting took place. I spoke to the senior commanders, BSF officers here in Jammu, and they said that it went on in a cordial atmosphere. The modalities for his release are being worked out. They agreed in principle to release him, but then the documentation takes some time, and that's precisely the reason he's not being released today. But at the same time, they said, of course, the interrogation has taken place. He was questioned for so many hours in Pakistan, but now finally he is going to be released tomorrow, and tomorrow he will return back to India. But the question again will be asked that how come this incident happened, because the lot of effort and resources have gone into the modernization of the BSF, but this particular boat developed a snag right near the border, and that's precisely the reason he was swept away into Pakistan. But those are questions that will be asked later. At the moment, the focus is on his release, and finally the good news is that he will be released tomorrow at the border, at the Octroi post in the Arispura, and he'll return back to India.
Right, Zafar Iqbal there talking about what's likely to happen tomorrow. Let's go back to Nitin Gokhale. Nitin, you were talking about that demand for the flag meeting and about delays which were taking place. I believe your sources are telling you that the Jawan was being questioned by Pakistani authorities before he was handed over. Take us through that.
Well, certainly yes. I mean, normally after such an incident, a Jawan would be returned in about 24 hours time. But clearly the Pakistanis have decided to take full advantage of his custody. Remember, he was spotted and arrested by the Pakistani Rangers, taken into custody yesterday, almost 24 hours ago from now, at about 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon. And in that, the expectation was that he will be released today. But despite repeated requests by the BSF for flag meeting and information on him, the constable was not released today. Our sources now telling us that he was questioned first by the Pakistani Rangers, and when the Pakistani army, which is also stationed nearby in the Markiwala camp where he was initially taken, where the ISI and the Pakistani army actually interrogated him, questioned him about the BSF's deployment, or even I'm sure about the Indian Army's deployment in that area. Although I doubt whether Satyashil Yadav would have enough information about Indian Army, because Indian Army is not deployed on the international border. It is the BSF which is deployed on the international border. Indian Army is deployed on the line of control. But clearly he was, as much information was sought to be extracted from him as possible by the Pakistanis when he is still in their custody.
Thank you so much for joining us with those details. Zafar Iqbal and Nitin Gokhale reporting on that big breaking story at this hour about how the Jawan who was taken in by the Pakistani custody will be released tomorrow afternoon.